Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alejo Cas and this one over here is Charmander. Today we're going to be taking a look at leopard geckos. What are they? Where did they come from? And how you too can keep one of these little ones. Let's go. Leopard geckos are a nocturnal species of lizard. They are native to the rocky dry grasslands and deserts of Afghanistan, Iran, Pakistan, India and Nepal. So now you must be wondering, what do I need to keep one of these lizards? Well, first of all, you need to research the animal before you buy it, and you need to have an enclosure ready for when you bring it home. The minimum size enclosure for a leopard gecko is a 20-gallon tank when they are fully grown. You can start with a 10-gallon tank, but usually when they are fully grown, they will need at least 20 gallons, and that's just the minimum. For substrate, it's not recommendable to use a loose substrate as there is risk of impaction. I myself use ReptiCarpet, and I do change it every month. The humidity should be 30 to 40%, and you will need a hydrometer to keep the humidity at the right spot. You're gonna need a heat gradient in your enclosure. The hot side should be at 82 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit, and your cold side should be at 75 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Your animal will not survive a drop of 65 degrees Fahrenheit. You should have a heat gradient. That way your animal is able to choose how hot or cold he wants to be. As a heat source, you can use a UTH, which is a pad that heats up and goes under the tank. It should be at one side of the tank, which would be your hot spot, and you should have a thermostat. The thermostat will regulate your hot spot, that way your animal will not burn. As well as you will need two hats, one of them being the humid hideout. The humid hideout helps on the shedding process of the gecko. Babies shed about every 2 weeks, and then you have the adults that shed about every month. Leopard geckos store fat in their tails, and you must be really careful when handling, not to grab them by the tail or scare them, because they have the ability to deattach their tails. After deattaching their tails, the tail will twitch for about 30 minutes. This will allow the leopard gecko to escape the predator. They will regrow their tails, but it won't look the same as the original tail, so be really careful when handling. Baby leopard geckos must be fed every day 7 to 10 mealworms or crickets, small crickets. Mealworms are easier to keep since you can keep them in your fridge and they will just stay asleep. When you take them out, you let them warm up and they will wake up. I feed my leopard gecko weekly and she gets 10 to 20 large crickets, which will stay in her enclosure and she will hunt them as she needs them. You should dose your crickets or mealworms with multivitamins and calcium. This is the kind of multivitamins I use. I hope that would help you out. And for calcium, I use this one. So that's what I use to dose weekly when I'm feeding my leopard gecko. You should have a source of calcium as well, so you can have a little dish with calcium in there and they will be able to get calcium whenever they need it. You should have as well a dish with water. The water should be conditioned, and the product I use for that is this one, and that should clean up the water and make it safe for the reptile to drink. Remember, leopard geckos live from 10 to 20 years in captivity, so when you buy a leopard gecko, that is a big commitment. You're gonna have this animal for 10 to 20 years in your life, and more than that in some cases. And as I say, if you think a leopard gecko is good for you, do your research, make sure you're ready to get a leopard gecko and get one and enjoy it. Anyway, Char has been an amazing pet. There's not much responsibility when we're talking about a leopard gecko. If you set up everything correctly, they will thrive. And they are very personable, and they will recognize you and they will come to you if you interact with them enough. Well guys, that's all we have for today for leopard geckos. Let me know if you would like to have one of these little guys, and what would you name it? Let me know down below. If you like it, subscribe and hit the bell. I will be posting in the future with different animals.